Some people think that sounds overdramatic, but I'm right there with you. I think that he is so vindictive that he will go after however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you. How seriously should we be taking that?
And maybe you should take a look at Joe Biden, who literally declared that it was going to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and then did a speech in front of a blood red lit Independence Hall in Philadelphia, declaring his political enemies enemies of democracy and the republic.
Whoopi Goldberg and The View have obviously been saying some absolutely nutty things over the past year or so. I know they've been saying nutty things for longer than that, but over the last year, it's gotten insane. Like, they're trying to one-up themselves every single show and say the next craziest thing they could possibly say. Although, I don't think they're actors. I know some people out there in the comments think that Whoopi and The View, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, they're acting like they're absolutely insane. I don't think they're acting. I think they're completely brainwashed. And we all know on this channel, over the past few months, I haven't been the biggest fan of Ben Shapiro. Honestly, it's been a lot longer than that. But on this channel specifically, I've been making videos that are pretty anti-Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire. But there's no question that Ben Shapiro absolutely demolishes Whoopi Goldberg and The View in this video. And it was absolutely glorious because he points out all of the fallacies, all of the just inconsistencies and just the lunacy in this whole situation with Rachel Maddow going on The View, and them saying that they're scared that Donald Trump, if and when he gets elected, he's going to shut down The View because that's what Donald Trump is focused on. Let's check out this clip here from this episode of Ben Shapiro's show where he absolutely destroys Whoopi Goldberg and The View.
May have ever heard. So she was on The View yesterday, and apparently she says that she and Joy Behar, another genius, they say that they are very afraid that if Donald Trump wins the election, that Donald Trump will take them off the air. Man, don't threaten me with a good time.
You said recently that you thought that you, as an outspoken critic, could be a target yourself. Some people think that sounds overdramatic, but I'm right there with you. I think that he is so vindictive that he will go after however he has to, through the IRS maybe, or even through sponsors to get us off the air maybe, or you. How seriously should we be taking that?
Not seriously, even a little bit. Do you honestly, like, Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and The View view themselves as a threat to Donald Trump. I can promise you that Donald Trump does not care about what The View says about Donald Trump, yeah. And it's crazy that they even think that they are going to have an effect on, they could possibly have an effect on Donald Trump's, legacy, perception, maybe the election. He doesn't care about you. Donald Trump has been going after the fake news, as he famously says, CNN, MSNBC, all these propaganda sites that spread misinformation about Donald Trump constantly. Basically, while he was president, they spread it, they spread that information, misinformation, for a living. Like, that's what they do to make money. And now that he's gone, they're suffering because they don't have a big bad boogeyman to go after. The View is not included in that whenever Donald Trump is talking about the fake news and the misinformation coming out, because The View is simply created for angry old women to watch they already have their opinion. They're never going to change it. They just want to exist in an echo chamber of just lunatics, absolute lunatics of The View. You're not a threat to him. If he was ever going to use his political power to shut down a show, he would have shut down CNN or MSNBC or one of those actual propaganda sites that people somewhat, for some reason, still take seriously because they're supposed to have this pedigree of being an actual, journalism site or news station or whatever. He would have shut down one of those sites or news stations. He's not going to go after The View, that literally no one takes seriously except for old, miserable, angry women. That's it. That's the only people who take this. And it's like those people who watch this show and who are in the audience of this show, they're lost already. They're not ever going to be swayed into liking Donald Trump or something.
Well, so I was asked, am I worried about me? And my answer was, I'm worried about all of us. I'm no more worried about me than I am worried about everybody in the country. I think it's bad to have somebody saying, give me as much power as you can in this country so I can use it to go after other Americans. So I can use it to go after these subhuman internal enemies and I'll destroy them. Like, that's just not a good system for anybody.
Wow.
I assume that Rachel Maddow there is referring to Donald Trump wanting to crack down on immigration. Do you see how insane these people are that's how The View spins that? The fact that Donald Trump wants to have some sort of regulated immigration, as opposed to what Joe Biden and his regime have currently of just anybody and everybody can just come on in. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a criminal, you're a murderer, you're a drug smuggler, you're a human smuggler. It doesn't matter. Just come on in, you know, just come vote Democrat and you're all good in our books. So the fact that Donald Trump wants to crack down on that and not just have people running willy-nilly through the border, he is going to use his political power to go after Americans. Like that's how they spin that. No, they're not Americans. They're illegal immigrants. They're not Americans.
And maybe you should take a look at Joe Biden, who literally declared that it was going to be a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and then did a speech in front of a blood red lit Independence Hall in Philadelphia, declaring his political enemies of democracy and the republic. Okay, listen, I've poured a lot of scorn on the frivolous among the Democrats. On the Republican side of the aisle, the Wall Street Journal now reports that the House Ethics Committee said on Tuesday it's investigating Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz. You remember Matt Gaetz from such special episodes as Matt Gaetz decides that Kevin McCarthy shouldn't be Speaker of the House for some unspecified reason and blows up the entire system and nothing gets better. You remember that? That was great. Anyway, he's being investigated over allegations that he may have engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. The secretive 10-member panel released a letter Tuesday in which it said it was clarifying its investigation into the four-term lawmaker because of the significant and unusual amount of public reporting on the case. Gaetz has denied wrongdoing. He said on social media, past probes, quote, emerged from lies intended solely to smear me. The committee is, quote, now opening new frivolous investigations. He said the panel is doing this to avoid the obvious fact that every investigation into me ends the same way, my exoneration. The DOJ had investigated Gaetz for several years, beginning in 2020, for allegations of sex trafficking, which he denied. That investigation was, in fact, closed without charges. The House Ethics Committee continued to probe Gaetz. Gaetz is facing a primary challenge in his district right now. He's likely to win that particular primary. It's not a particularly competitive primary from what I understand. The ethics panel said it had difficulty in obtaining.
If you enjoy videos like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Relevant information from Gaetz. And they said they've spoke with more than a dozen witnesses, issued 25 subpoenas, reviewed thousands of pages of documents. Apparently, the panel has determined some of the allegations merit review. The panel says that it is investigating whether Gaetz accepted improper gifts, dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. My complaint with Matt Gaetz is that his frivolity is largely rooted in a disdain for the normal workings of politics inside the House of Representatives, where it's much more interesting to be notorious in social media than it is to actually engage in the hard work of doing the thing that actually is necessary if you're the House of Representatives, which, of course, there are a lot of people in the House who are not interested in doing that. The cost of living is up almost 20% from 2021. Thanks, Joe. And families everywhere are feeling that burden. But legacy media keeps selling election primary. Well, it's a primary anyway,
sponsorship.
It is going to be held in the district where the seat is currently occupied by Representative Jamal Bowman. You'll remember Jamal Bowman. Jamal Bowman is the moron who somehow believed that a fire alarm was going to release a door. Remember, he ended up being held in contempt of Congress because he basically held up a congressional vote by pulling a fire alarm. And then he claimed that he wasn't pulling the fire alarm in order to hold up the congressional vote. He instead was doing it because he thought it was going to release the lock on a door. It was all a lie. But Jamal Bowman is truly one of the stupidest people in American politics. He's running in a very competitive primary against a Republican named George Latimer. Many top-level Democrats have endorsed Latimer because they realize that Jamal Bowman is a clown. Like, not just a regular-sized clown, like a giant clown with tiny shoes, apparently. He fits into a clown car along with the rest of the squad. Well, Jamal Bowman has come under serious fire because, of course, Jamal Bowman is openly anti-Semitic. He says things all the time.
Dude, come on, man. Like, I just want to make one video of Ben Shapiro without having to trash on Ben Shapiro. Like, can we just talk about the topic at hand one time, dude? Just once. Come on, man. Like, not everybody that you don't like has to be anti-Semitic. Like, can we just avoid this topic just once, dude? That's it. That's all I ask. I just want to make one video, just like the good old days, of Ben Shapiro destroying The View, destroying Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the idiots over there, Sonny Hostin, Rachel Maddow. I just want to make one video, for old time's sake, of Ben Shapiro destroying The View. And this guy just has to ruin it by saying, of course, this politician is anti-Semitic. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I don't care. Nobody else cares except for you. Stop doing this.
That are patently insane. In late spring 2022, for example, he apparently reached out to a local Jewish leader in Westchester County to ask for an unusual favor as he prepared to defend his seat in an August primary against two Democratic challengers who are gaining support from his district's sizable Jewish community. His district has a lot of Jews who live in it. So he texted the Jewish leader, quote, "Do you have pics of us so I can show the world I'm friends with Jewish people?"
Okay, it looks like you guys know I don't pre-watch these videos. Somebody who I trust very much sends these topics to me, and I trust them to give me stuff worthy of making videos for. This one was good. I watched it. I watched like the first few minutes. I was like, okay, cool. Good old days. Ben Shapiro destroying the View. Awesome. Now we're getting into the portion of the video where it just spirals into, okay, let's just spread my propaganda that I spread every single time that I speak on Twitter, on YouTube, anything. It's ridiculous. It's actually making me mad because I wanted to make a nice video of Ben Shapiro just destroying the View, and it's now turning into propaganda fest, anti-Semitic this, and pro Ben Shapiro's favorite country in the Middle East over there. And I'm just tired of it. We're not listening to this. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about Ben Shapiro destroying the View. I'm not going to let Ben spread his propaganda. I don't feel like debating this Ben Shapiro, from the past today. I will do that in my other video possibly. So let me know in the comments what you thought about Ben Shapiro absolutely destroying the View, and just how ridiculous those members of the View are. Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Rachel Maddow, just they're absolute lunatics. I don't think they're acting. Let me know in the comments if you think they're acting. I think they're being 100% serious, and it's insane to me that they think they're an actual threat to Donald Trump. I promise you're not on Donald Trump's radar. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about the View versus Ben Shapiro.